Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I'm playing the Tier 9 Russian destroyer Udaloi. Now this is the line that is more torpedo focused. These are not ever going to qualify as torpedo destroyers, but the line that goes Ognovoi, Udaloi, and then Grozovoi, a little bit more function in the torpedoes than in the other side of the line that ends with the Khabarovsk. You can see in the chat there that there's somebody's noticed that we've got an Akatsuki that is divisioned with a Gnevny. Now, the funny thing is, as the game progresses, the Gnevny actually secures a cap and helps out. So you just never know. I mean, a lot of times when you see these failed divisions, quote unquote, they are brand new players who just really don't have any idea. But in this particular case, it wasn't all bad. Now, why am I showing you this replay? Because I highlighted, I think, the Tashkent a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to give you some idea of kind of how the other side of this Russian destroyer line plays. I have always thought that the Ognovoi was kind of fun to play. It's become more difficult to play with the changes that have been introduced in the last, say, 2 years, because it only has 4 barrels. It's got 2 turrets, each with 2 barrels, so you get 4 guns on the Ognovoi, which means there are a lot of things that really outgun it at this point, and you're liable to run into things like Smolensk or Ragnar or the new German destroyers that basically have cruiser guns. So at least with the Udaloi, you've got a total of 6 guns. You got 3 turrets, 2 guns each turret, and it is a little bit more effective as a gunboat. The reload isn't terrible, and of course it's got the traditional flat Russian gun arcs, which are really great when you're trying to land shells on destroyers. Now, I did not want to run right into the cap because I figured with the Gajimata, Shiratsuyu, and Akatsuki, as well as Mr. Gutland on the other side, everybody's going to outspot me. I mean, you can see I've got the concealment expert skill on this commander, but it's still, my detection radius is 7.2 kilometers. Now, I have smoke, but I don't want to use it. All I'm doing right now is I'm trying to bait out torpedoes. I'm not taking any fire, at least yet. I'm going to turn off the AA, and here come the torpedoes. I expected them, knew they'd be coming. He probably thought I was just going to try and reverse into the cap, but I wasn't really playing that game. I just wanted to bait out the torpedoes because I could see our Jean Bar was pushing south, and I was really hoping that the DD would say, oh, I'm going to try and dev strike that Udaloi rather than do a little bit of damage to the Jean Bar. So anyway, so that kind of went to plan. Things don't always work out that well, but in this case they did. Now, why did I throw the torpedoes where I threw them? Because I could tell from the angle of approach of the torpedoes that were coming, that I think were meant for me, more or less where I expect that destroyer to now be sitting. And I've fallen back just enough that I can't be detected. And I want to swing by the Jean Bar here. And you can see a lot of our ships, and I do catch that destroyer. So now I know right where he is. I'm sure he's moving, but I know right where he was at. I'm kind of hoping that he's moving from your right to your left, so I have a chance to catch him with that next set that came out. But I'm here because I wanted to be in position to smoke for the JB. And my hope is that I'll smoke and he'll be smart enough and experienced enough to know, okay, don't shoot. Complete your turn and don't shoot. So of course he shoots. I know. Well, it's World of Warships. And some people, it's just as soon as the guns are loaded, they're just going to pull the trigger regardless. And I think that's probably what happened there. But so the next set of torpedoes from the Gutland, you can see, are definitely meant for the Jean Bar. I'm going to back into my smoke here, and I'm going to start putting the guns to work. And why did I run out of the smoke? Well, because I expected torpedoes. It was about time for them to be back. And I wanted to do what I could to mitigate that. So now I know I've got a minute or so before I have to worry about torpedoes again, which is about how much time I have on my smoke. So as my smoke starts to get to the point where it might be dying out, and the Grosse conveniently fires his guns so I can see him again, So about the time that my smoke starts to run out, I know I need to get the heck out of the smoke and be, angled up and moving away. Now, as I mentioned, nice flat arcs. There's another fire. Let's see if I can get another one on the JB. Our Jean Bar is able to survive and get the heck out of there. Now keep an eye on our North Carolina on the minimap. You can see there he's at Charlie 3 right now. Look at where he ends up ultimately. Now I'm detected here briefly, but I'm not too worried about it. The battleship's guns, they take a little bit of time to traverse. And I actually don't mind that they know I'm here. See, I'm angled up against any potential shots from them. It's more likely that they're going to be putting shells on the battleships. Alright, so what am I concerned with here? Well, I'm not so concerned with the battleships, and I'm keeping an eye on what they're doing. But I'm more concerned with where that Estrogetland is at. Our Alaska finishes off their Monarch. Their Jean Bar finishes off our Pommern. And we are now down on Pommern. The bad guys are down on Monarch and a Megami. They've got a points lead on the back of the fact that they have 2 caps and we only have 1. And the large group of our ships that captured Charlie are unfortunately following Iowa, who's just kind of reversing away south toward well, he's on the J line now, and there's the Estrogetland, and that's kind of what I've been looking for. Want a chance to be able to chip away at his HP. I'm going to put torpedoes out here in case any of those battleships decide to head this way, and I'm going to try and get the island between me and them so nobody can see me anymore. So, as they continue to push south toward the Iowa, they've got Gajimata down there harassing them. We do have our Akatsuki there. Now, our De Grosse, you can see he's broadside as he pushes directly south along the 10 line. He's broadside to a Jean Bar and a Kearsarge. And he's pushing into a crossfire. The closer he gets to them, the better angles they're going to have, either the Jean Bar and the Kearsarge or the Iowa. And I don't expect him to survive, but we'll see. Estrogetland pokes his head around the corner. I'm just going to get the heck out of here. I'm going to fall back away from this corner. Battleships can't see me. I've got smoke between me and the Estrogetland now. And I do hit the JB with the torpedo, and I'm hoping I can follow that up and maybe get some flooding. Now, I prefer this side of the Russian destroyer line, primarily because the range on the torpedoes is a little bit better. You've got 10 kilometers range here, whereas, Tashkent, 8 kilometers? They're practically worthless. Occasionally you can use these torpedoes with 10 kilometers worth of range, but with a 7.2 kilometer detection range and an 8 kilometer torpedoes, you can kind of see the problem. You have a very small stealth window. Looks like JB is going to outrun my torps, but I'm liable to catch the Grosse. And he is conveniently turning, making it even easier. I'm guessing he doesn't have his hydro up, which, good for me. Meanwhile, Gnevny, if you look at Echo 5, has secured the Bravo cap. And my comment there was, I was just kind of looking at where our North Carolina's at. Now, our Pommern takes out their Jean Bar, the Grosse takes out their Iowa, and Shiratsuyu floods out their Jean Bar. So right now they're down to 6 ships. We've still got 11. I am detected, which tells me that I've got a destroyer out here to be concerned about. Throw some torpedoes, but I'm not going to panic. I'm going to try and figure out where the destroyer is. I'm hoping that I'll see some gunfire from the smoke or somewhere else down here. Since I don't, I'm going to go dark now, if I can, by using this smoke, and if not, I'm just going to be pushing kind of straight at. Now I know where the destroyer is or was. That's what I was looking for, guns or torpedoes. I see the torpedoes. And Estrogetland is it's a very fun ship. I like it very much, but it is no match for the Udaloi in terms of gun power. And while that was going on, Everything red that was in the alpha cap is gone. Now I'm just going to push into the alpha cap. Now, this wasn't a flashy game by any stretch of the imagination. This was a complete blowout, but it does, I think, offer a pretty good example of kind of what I consider at least a reasonable play style for this line of ships. That's, again, Ognevoi, Udaloi, Grozovoi. Now, Grozovoi has more tools, or maybe, what's the better way to put it? Is able to more effectively use the tools, but Udaloi is not a bad ship at all, at least not in my opinion. I think destroyers in the current game meta, and this is not a criticism. I'm not making commentary on the state of the game or anything like this when I say this, but I think destroyers with good guns and longer range torpedoes have an advantage over destroyers that have less good guns or less range on the torpedoes. That's it. And so that's why I prefer this line. Anyway, thanks, and I'll see you next time.